welcome to Barnhill Pottery's how-to series. This is the first. Today we'll be making a large mug and I'll show you wedging and throwing the mug. So now I'm going to wedge the clay. I use 1.5 pounds for a large mug. I have my gauge set for 1.5 pounds. And then I check it on the scale. It's a little under, a little on there. And then I take it and I wedge it. And I wedge some grog into it. Grog is fired clay, like sand in a way, and it just adds a little dry strength to the clay. So I wedge it like this. This is called chrysanthemum wedging. It aligns all the clay platelets in the correct direction for throwing and gets rid of all the air bubbles. And I do this to a count of 50. And every time I roll it away, I roll it back and I turn it a little bit so that it spirals around on itself. And then when I'm done, all I do is roll it into a cone, so it's ready to go. Okay, so now I have the clay. I'm going to get my wheel ready. I take my sponge and I wet this. This is a bat grabber. It keeps your bat from jiggling around. And then I have, where'd it go?
Oh, didn't you?
There it is. A special bat that has a square insert for small things, which is about 90% of what I throw. And I wet that as well. Always put your sponge between your bucket and your splash pan and you won't spend most of your life looking for it. So I put on the little bat and I level it, wet it a little bit, and then my clay is in the perfect shape to wham it down. So I stick it to the wheel head, make sure it's not going to fly across the room, and then I'm going to squeeze it and follow the squeeze up. This is coning, which is another way of aligning your clay platelets. It also increases your surface matter, so if you have any air bubbles or strange things in your clay, they come to the surface. And then I'm going to push it off a little bit and push it down. And I want it to be into a hamburger shape. So this hand is a brace, this hand pushes the clay, and between the two of them, the pot is centered. And you can't see it, but my outside hand started on the bottom, moved up a little, moved up a little, and moved up to the top. And that's particularly important in really large pieces of clay. So the most important thing is to take your hands away slowly. If you take them away quickly, you throw it off every time. So every time I touch the pot, the wheel is going, I touch it gently, and I take my hands away gently. So now I'm going to sink my hole. I put my hands on either side, my thumbs automatically find center, and I push down. And I'm going to leave a good bottom on this. And this is how I open the bottom. I'm just using my middle finger and my other finger for support. And then I compress the bottom with my finger. I move the clay where I need it to be so that it's a level bottom. And then I'll do it again with my sponge, just to make it a nice smooth bottom. The first pull I do is called a crab claw. I do it with my left hand, and I'm just pushing the clay up to get it started. And I'm keeping the rim pretty thick. And after every pull I compress the rim, where I support it with 2 fingers, and put 1 finger on the top, and that keeps it on center. If your rim is off center, then your pot's off center. But you can always put it back on center. So now I'm going to just start pulling up the sides. I usually make a pot in 3 pulls, so that was 1. This is 2. And I'm going to keep the rim of my pot in narrower than the bottom, although I'm making a straight up and down cylinder. And that's to compensate for centrifugal force. So that's 2 pulls. And here comes 3. And I'm pushing the clay between my 2 hands. I make a ripple and I pull the ripple up the side of the pot. I never stay in any one place. That's when you get a thin spot and then the pot will tear. So that's the height. So I get the water out of the bottom. You leave water in the bottom, it will crack. So I take my rectangle rib and I put it flat against here, and that gives me a 45-degree angle. And I'm literally pushing the inside clay into that edge, so I get a nice, strong, straight, smooth edge. And I'll do that more than once, however many times I need, but just make sure that it's smooth, straight. That's just a straight cylinder mug. Pretty boring. So I'll tidy up the bottom. Out, and then with the chamois I run it over the rim of the pot. The rim is crucial, especially something like a mug where you're going to put it on your lips, and I push in a little bit so it defines the rim. It gives a finishing edge to the pot. And then I'll come in and I'll make a line right here with my fingernail, and I just make sure this is nice and round. This is the one that sits, this is where it sits on your lip. So you want it to literally sit on the same shape as your lip. And you want it nice and beefy because it's the first part that chips. So there's a simple straight up and down large mug. I wire it off. Pick it up. And I do it 50 more times. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching my video. Next video I will trim the mug and put a handle on it and a thumb rest. And the following video will be glazing the mug. So if you like this, please click like and subscribe so that you don't miss a video. Bye.